let's get into it. So this is according to Reality Blurb. It says Vanderpump Rules Scheana Shay shares where she stands with Brandi Glanville and regrets about the Eddie affair. Scheana Shay opened up about her current relationship with Brandy on a recent episode of her podcast. Years after the Vanderpump Rules cast member 37 came forward with her affair with the 50-year-old Real Housewives of Beverly Hills stars, now ex-husband Eddie, 49, claiming he was cheating on her with his other mistress, now wife, LeAnn Rimes, 40. So she's basically saying Eddie was cheating on everybody. He was cheating on LeAnn. He was cheating on me. He was cheating on Brandy. But at the end of the day, he just ended up marrying LeAnn. Scheana shared where they stand and revealed what she regrets about her 2009 interview with Access Hollywood. Side note, do you guys remember that this was wasn't this the way that Bravo and Lisa Vanderpump introduced Vanderpump Rules? Because I believe it was Lisa Vanderpump who helped orchestrate, or maybe the producers, we only saw what they let us see. They orchestrated the sit down between Brandi and Scheana Shay. And then that was kind of like the introduction into Vanderpump Rules. You guys remember that? Anyway, let's keep going. And also, what I also find funny about Brandi, not funny because I'm going to talk about her being violent. What I find interesting about Brandi is that she, slapped Lisa Vanderpump in her face literally for no reason. She threw a glass of wine in Eileen Davidson's face because they were having a conversation about like Eileen and like her husband and what happened in their own relationship, which is their business. She allegedly, but we know the deal, trapped Caroline Manzo into a bathroom and stuck her tongue down her throat and touched her breast and her vaginal parts. She basically lied on Denise. She's done all of these very wacky, crazy things. But isn't it funny how she had the most composure, forgiveness, and grace and soundness of mind when she was talking to Scheana Shay, who was sleeping with her husband? Like, if you think that Brandy's going to slap someone and throw wine on them, wouldn't you think it would be with the chick who's banging your husband? I don't know. That's just me. Let's keep going. It's just so crazy how things come full circle. Scheana shared on her episode Shenanigans via Heavy, confirming she and Brandy are in a good place. I'm hanging out with Brandy at BravoCon, and we're trying to plan to do each other's podcast. My. Because also, doesn't Brandy always say she still has this like trauma? Like I was watching Brandy's podcast the other day when she had Austin on from Southern Charm. And she was still so triggered about the fact that she was cheated on, how she hates people who cheat, blah, 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 blah. But yet you're now trying to be BFFs with Scheana Shay, who was actively sleeping with your husband? Like, legit? I don't get it. But I guess everybody needs clicks and views and podcast downloads, but it is what it is. According to Scheana, she would, quote, love to welcome the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star to her show and to be a guest on Brandi Glanville Unfiltered despite their troubled past. While looking back at a conversation she had with her with the family of her husband, Brock Davies, 31, Scheana said, speaking of Brock, I think Brock is a grifter. I think Brock is the malicious version of PK. That's what I think. We'll get more into Brock when he shows back up. Scheana said that, as explained her cheating scandal to them, she pointed to the fact that she was quite young when she and Eddie struck up a romance. I said, at the time I was 21, she explained, but at the time I said I didn't for 1 second think about when I did a public interview how that was going to make Brandi feel. At the time, Scheana felt betrayed by Eddie. I just said, F this guy. He screwed me over, she shared. I need to tell my side, and I didn't think of the ramification that was going to cause this poor woman who was pregnant and got cheated on. I felt just so sick, After Eddie's affair with LeAnn, which began on the set of their Lifetime movie, Northern Lights, came to light, Scheana spoke to Access Hollywood, insisting she had no idea he was married when their affair began. Yeah, but you knew that he was married during the affair and you kept it going. So you're still just as guilty, girl. He would come to my work, we'd go get drinks, and after hang out at my house, she revealed. So basically it was just sex. Call a thing a thing. He'd come, get you drink, you have some cocktails, and he'd bang and he'd leave. Girl, bye. It went on for about 6 months, and then my mom calls me one day and she's like, so that guy Eddie that you've been hanging out with, I just picked up the morning paper and it says that him and his wife Brandy of like, I don't know, 5 years at the time, are expecting their second child. Side note, I think this really messed Brandy up, being cheated on while pregnant. I think that's a particular type of trauma that happens to a woman. I really do. It also happened to Porsha. When Porsha was pregnant with her daughter, what's his face? Dennis, the hot dog guy, cheated on her. And remember, I don't know if you guys watched Porsha Family Matters, but when they were talking about it at the table, Porsha got so triggered, she wanted to fight Dennis's mom. Everybody wants to fight random people instead of actually, fighting the person they should be fighting. Brandy shouldn't be slapping people and getting wasted and do all that stuff. She should hash it out with Eddie and get some help. Porsha shouldn't be fighting her daughter's grandmother. She should fight it out with Dennis. And by fight, I don't mean physical. I mean work it out, talk it out. She should work it out with Dennis, not work it out, get back together, but like get to a good place and do some therapy. Anyway, let's keep going. But because Eddie told her they were separated and later gifted her a pair of diamond earrings, so basically he gave her a not hush money, but like a hush gift. Like, hey girl, keep your mouth shut. Here are some earrings. You're just my sex toy. Be quiet. Scheana struggled to pull away from the actor, AKA, there's a hot actor, we're having great sex, and he's giving me diamond earrings, and he's buying me stuff and gifts. Of course, why would she doesn't, unless you have a particular moral compass, you don't have the incentive to end that. Because in your little mind, you think, I'm so young, I'm so beautiful, he'll leave his wife for me, and then I'll have all of the money and the gifts and the access, and maybe it could help my career since he's an actor, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure that's what Scheana thought. I don't think Scheana really gave a damn about his pregnant wife at home. I think Scheana thought, I'm banging a hot actor. I'm hotter than the wife. I'm younger than the wife. He's giving me money. He's giving me jewelry. And I think when she found out, I think what really pissed Scheana off was when she found out she wasn't the only one. When she found out she wasn't the only mistress, that he was also banging his co-star LeAnn Rimes, who, by the way, had way more fame and way more money than him. Let's call a thing a thing. LeAnn Rimes has way more money. She has that country music money. Basically, Eddie was pulling a Scheana. Why would Eddie stop cheating with LeAnn Rimes whatever her name is, when he's like, if I marry her, I'm going to have all of this money. I bet you LeAnn was giving Eddie gifts. That's why Scheana was pissed, because she got, not because Eddie was married to a pregnant Brandy. Because if you really cared about the fact that he had a pregnant wife at home, the moment you knew, and you admit you knew it and you kept the affair going, you would have ended it. If I'm, quote, dating a guy and my mother finds out that he's married and his wife is pregnant with their second child, not only am I going to break up with him, but my mother would wring my neck. I don't care how old I am. I could be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. My mother would get me all the way together. I would be gathered down if my mother knew I was messing with a married man with a pregnant wife. So I also think it's very telling. And I don't like to talk about people's mothers because that's just that, I'm not talking about anybody's mother like that. I know that's a touchy subject. But I also think it's very telling that Brandy's mother knew. But then again, not Brandi, Scheana. But then again, Scheana still is an adult. So I'm not going to say anything about her mom because maybe her mom was telling her to break up with him. And maybe Scheana was like, I'm grown, I'm going to do what I want. So I'm not going to talk about anybody's mom. I'll talk about my mom. If it were my mother, I would not have a choice. It would be over. Okay. But let's keep going. It was just kind of like, don't ask, don't tell. When you're with me, she said. I mean, it's just like no one else mattered. It was just me and him. Exactly. Scheana also spoke to Us Weekly, denying she was a, quote, homewrecker and putting the blame on Eddie. He wrecked his own home. He broke his vows. He effed up, not me, she declared. Scheana, shut up. That's why you're being played right now by Brock. That's why you're supporting him financially. That's why you are lying about his physical altercation with his ex. You get what I'm saying? Girl, karma is real. Karma is real, and karma knows everybody's address. You were out here trying to, get wifed up from a married man because you wanted some money, and now your husband is pretty much milking you dry, because Scheana came out and said that she has, quote, loaned her husband Brock money, but she was like, but we have like a contract and blah, blah, blah. Girl, you ain't seeing that money. You ain't seeing that money. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Are you like me and you're kind of just like, you know what, Scheana? Shut up. I don't know what you thought you were going to gain from talking about this affair again. Maybe you just needed content for your podcast episode. I don't know. But I don't think this did you any favors. It didn't seem like you learned anything. Doesn't seem like you have any regret or remorse. It just seems like you are just reliving when you were, 21 and, TV Lifetime actor was banging you on the side. Like, that's pretty much what it was. Call a thing a thing. And then he upgraded when he had LeAnn Rimes, who had, all that money. So, girl, bye. And what do you think about Brandy? What do you think about Brandy now trying to be cordial and friendly with Scheana, who, as we know, was banging her husband? Thank you so much, Salma. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super sticker. Who was banging her husband while she was pregnant with her second child. But yet she still has all the smoke for Lisa Vanderpump. Just throwing that out there. Put it down below. I want to know what you guys think. And stick around my candy canes because we are about to take your candy cane questions and comments. But before we do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. Check out the description box down below and join our newsletter. It is free and you get a free self-love guide. Check out our podcast, books, movies, and courses, and more. So with that, you guys, let's take some of your candy cane questions and comments. Thank you so much, Salma, for the super sticker. I appreciate it. I really do. All right, I'm going to